So today we're going to dig into this 2,000-year-old metaphor that honestly, it cuts right to the heart of a timeless human challenge. It's this gap between who we seem to be and who we really are. It's an ancient idea with a surprisingly modern sting. I mean, just think about it for a second. We all do it, right? To some degree, we all curate our lives, especially online, presenting this polished, perfect version of ourselves to the world. But this question really makes you stop and ask, what's actually hiding behind that carefully built image? What are we afraid people might see? So to really get a handle on this whole phenomenon, the shiny exterior hiding a messy interior, we're going to turn to a really potent metaphor from an ancient text. We're looking at the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 23. Wow, the imagery there is just so stark. On one hand, you've got something that looks beautiful, it's pristine, it's clean, it looks totally respectable. But that's just the surface level. Inside, it's the complete opposite, just decay and filth. Okay, so for a little bit of context, when the text mentions whitewashed tombs or sepulchres, it's talking about these stone burial structures. And they paint them white, a lot of the time, to make them really visible so people wouldn't accidentally touch one and become, ritually impure. So from far away, they were these shining beacons of cleanliness. Now, you gotta know, the original target for the singer was really specific. It was the religious establishment of that day. But here's what makes this metaphor so powerful and why we're even talking about it now. You don't need to know any of that ancient history to really feel the sting of this idea. The lesson here is absolutely universal. All right, let's actually break down this anatomy of hypocrisy. The whole punch of the metaphor comes from this incredibly dramatic, almost violent contrast between how things look on the outside and what's really going on inside. And this just lays it out perfectly. The outside is all about the performance, right? It's about projecting an image of righteousness, of purity. It's the face we put on for everybody else. But the inside, that reveals the truth. Decay, corruption, a kind of fundamental uncleanliness. So then the text just makes the connection crystal clear. It moves from the physical tomb directly to human behavior. It's saying, look, this isn't just about a painted box. It's about people who appear righteous, but are secretly filled with the very things they're condemning in public. So here's the core of it all. The problem isn't trying to be good. It's when you decide to prioritize looking good over actually being good. It's a total breakdown of integrity, where appearance and reality they're not even connected anymore. And it's usually driven by a fear of what people will think or a hunger for praise. But come on, this isn't just some ancient problem. It's everywhere. So where do we see these whitewashed tombs in our world right now? I'm sure some examples have already popped into your head because they're almost endless, right? We've all seen this one. It's a classic for a reason. You've got a public figure who builds their entire brand, their whole identity, on moral purity and traditional principles. They present this beautiful, righteous image to all their supporters. And then the truth comes out. The inside of that tomb is cracked open for all to see, and it reveals a private life that is the exact opposite of that public facade. That beautiful exterior, it was just a shell hiding all the rot inside. Or, hey, think about this in the corporate world. You see a company that wraps itself in the language of ethics and sustainability and social justice. Their commercials are beautiful, their mission statement is so inspiring. They look like a real force for good in the world. But behind the scenes, behind that pristine public image, the reality is exploitation, it's toxicity, it's inequality. It's the same pattern all over again, a whitewashed tomb. It looks amazing on the outside, but inside it's full of decay. So, if that's the diagnosis of the problem, then what's the solution? Well, this ancient metaphor doesn't just call out the issue, it also kind of points us toward the antidote, this really difficult but totally necessary pursuit of integrity. So what does that path look like? How do you stop being a whitewashed tomb? Well, it starts with the courage to just be self-aware, to actually admit, hey, there's a gap between what I say I believe and what I actually do. And then comes the really hard work of trying to close that gap. And ultimately, it's about a radical shift in your priorities, valuing who you are more than how you appear. What's really interesting here is that the goal isn't to have a perfect public self and a perfect private self. No, the goal is to just have one self, one single integrated person, where the inside and the outside are actually in harmony with each other, not at war. And this might be the most important takeaway of all. This whole critique, it's not a call for us to be flawless, because nobody's perfect. It's really a powerful call for sincerity. It's about being whole, being authentic, and making a real, honest effort to live out the values you say you have, even when it's hard. So we'll end right where we started, with the question that this metaphor really forces every single one of us to ask. When you look at your own life, what are you showing the world and what's truly inside?